today we're going to start our cats. Pick the body style, shape, and direction you want your cat to go in first. Maybe practice in your sketchbook once before you move on. Start by drawing your cat. Use a pencil to start, or Sharpie. If you use a pencil, trace over all of your pencil lines with Sharpie before you move on to the next part. When you add in your patterns or designs, make sure they're big enough so that you can color them in later with your crayons. Okay, now we get to start coloring. I want to get my entire cat colored in. So I'm going to take my crayons, no markers, not yet, just my crayons. I'm going to push hard and I'm going to get my entire cat colored in with color crayons. I can even use white because it will show up later in our next step. I'm even using a color for the background on my cat. I chose gray. You can choose, again, any colors you want, but you want your entire cat filled in with crayon. All right, now you're going to choose a colored marker and make sure it's a washable one, and you're going to color over your entire cat. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me on this. Take your marker and color over the entire thing. Then you're going to take a paper towel that has just a little bit of moisture on it, and you're going to go ahead and rub that in. It's like you painted over the top of it. We might want to call that like a watercolor wash, except instead of using watercolors, we're using marker. Keep repeating that process over your entire cat until it's all colored in. Make sure you wiped off the whole cat with your paper towel to get rid of that extra marker that's on there. I like to call it buff and shine, where you take your hand and just kind of go around in a circular motion and get rid of as much of that as you can. Once you're done with that, make sure your name is on it if it's not already, and put it on the drying rack to dry. Okay, we're back for part 2. After our project is completely dry, or just a little bit dry, if you just finished up wiping it off with the damp paper towel, you'll notice that it kind of wrinkles like this. It gets kind of wrinkly, but you can flatten it out. But don't worry too much about it, because we're actually going to be cutting this out and gluing it down to another sheet of paper. So you're going to want to make sure you have your scissors and some glue. It can be a glue stick or a glue bottle. You're going to want your art and a piece of paper to glue it down to. So why don't you get all those things ready, and then we'll get started. All right, so now hopefully you have all of your things. The first thing you're going to do is, on the paper that you're going to be gluing your cat down to, you're going to put your name on the back. So I'm going to find just a crayon. Mrs. Nugent and then put your class code in there. So that is your grade and your teacher's name. So put that on there now. Then when you're done with that, flip your page over so you don't see your name anymore. We're gonna need your artwork and a pair of scissors. So let's remember to hold it correctly. We have our thumb going in the little circle and our fingers are going in the larger oval, and you're always making sure that they're pointed away from you. So something like this. Here we go. What I wanna do is cut my cat out, but I have to be careful because I noticed that the whiskers are really thin and they kind of go over into this section. So if I cut through this way and then cut back up again, I'm gonna lose those whiskers. So I have to think before I start cutting, where am I gonna cut and where am I not gonna cut? So watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you with my finger where I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna be cutting around the ears and even just a little white space or extra space there I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna come around this way, and then I'm just gonna go in, and then all the way around throughout here. And once I get over here, I'm gonna leapfrog over just like this and go up and back to where I started cutting. If I really want to, I'll show you how to cut this part out here without losing your whiskers. All right, so let's get started on that. All right, so I'm done with that, but I really want to get rid of some of this here. I'm not really happy with the way that looks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gently going to fold this part like this, and I'm gonna take my scissors and snip just a little bit. Then I have a little bit of a hole here, and what I can do is I can put my scissors inside of that hole, and I can carefully and slowly cut as I go around. And if I need to, I'll take my scissors out and go in a different way. Be careful, always pay attention to what you've cut and what you haven't yet. So I'm really taking my time on this. And I'm gonna go back this direction. And I can go this way. Take your time, there's no rush. And I'm gonna bring my scissors from underneath this time. Just makes it a little bit easier. There we go. All right, now I could even get that too if I wanted to. I think I might. Let's do it. And if it rips, don't worry about it because we're going to be gluing this whole thing down. So you'll be able to glue it back together again. I promise. Oops, there we go. All right, so now, all my scraps, I'll go ahead and clean those up right away before I move on to anything else. Scraps go in recycling bin. Your scissors can go back in your art bin. And now I get to, after I do that, get gluing. All right, I'm all cleaned up. So now I get to start gluing. I want this cat to be glued down to this paper here. So I'm gonna turn my whole cat over. I'm gonna find my glue bottle, make sure that it's open. Now I know it's open because I can actually hear it breathing. You hear it? Sometimes I think it might be a little clogged. Here we go. So I'm just gonna wipe it off, retry it again. Sounds a little bit better. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it upside down, let that glue drip to the cap. And now I'm just gonna put dots. I'm gonna go around the edge of it with some little dots, almost like little ant tracks, like little footprints of an ant going all the way around. Notice how I'm leaving a little bit of space between the edge of my cat and where the glue is here so that it doesn't ooze all over the paper and really not go where it needs to go. So now the tail here, I'm just gonna go straight down the middle because if I go to the edges, that's just too much glue. Maybe one on the whisker, one on the whisker, one on the whisker, and then just a little bit around this edge, and I'm all done. Is it dripping with glue? No, it has probably just the right amount. I'm gonna carefully, now this is the hard part. If you have too much glue, you'll notice it just drips, drips, drips. So careful, careful. Take it, turn your kitty cat over, And you're gonna wanna hold it down. Mrs. Nugent, it's not sticking. Well, what did I forget to do? I forgot to give it a little massage. So I'm just gonna gently push it down. And then I have to be careful when I give it a massage because there's a lot of extra little parts here that I don't wanna rip off. So I'm gently gonna give it a little massage. Almost like I'm petting the real cat. I wanna be gentle with it, or it's not gonna want me around it anymore, right? There we go. Okay. There's your cat. What do you think? Do you love it? I hope so. Go ahead and finish it up. Glue it down. And there's your beautiful kitty cat. Well done.